If you follow developments in India's defense sector, you might already know that India is reportedly planning to sell SU-30MKIs to Armenia in a $3 billion deal. On the surface, India exporting SU-30MKIs looks strange, especially when the IAF needs more fighter squadrons. But when you look a little deeper, you'll see there's a lot more going on here, from geopolitics to industry to economics, and it actually strengthens India's air power in the long run. Now, the Su-30s are licensed produced in India by HAL, a deal that was made way back in the 1990s. Initially, India relied heavily on Russia for engines, radar, EW suites, hydraulic systems, landing gear, many structural parts, and avionics elements. India's role in the beginning was mostly focused on assembly, airframe manufacturing, and system integration. At present, India's contribution has grown to about 62.6% indigenous content, including the airframe, which covers the full fuselage, wings, empennage, control surfaces, and landing gear structure, all made in collaboration. Materials such as composites and titanium alloys now make up a major share. In avionics and mission systems, India now produces its own standard mission computer, certain radio and communication systems, HUD, and cockpit components. Electrical systems such as wiring harnesses, power distribution units, batteries, cabling, and electrical boxes are also locally made. HAL Nashik handles the full assembly, testing, quality certification, and complete maintenance, repair, and overhaul. Even the weapons like BrahMos A, Astra, SA, Rudram-1, and various indigenous bombs and rockets are integrated locally. And all this is just for the baseline Su-30MKIs. The upcoming Super Sukhois will have even more indigenous components. What still comes from Russia for the baseline Su-30MKIs are the engines, radar, EW systems, certain actuators and flight control components, ejection seats, and transmission components. In short, India now stands at 60 to 70% indigenization. HAL has already demonstrated the ability to integrate Indian weapons independently, proving deep platform control. So, if we translate that into profits from a $3 billion deal, India's earnings would actually be higher than Russia's, but we gotta talk about the hidden benefits of this deal. Before that, let's address the elephant in the room. Is this really feasible when India itself lacks fighter squadrons? To put it simply, the IAF has no interest in adding more of the standard Su-30MKIs to its fleet. They already have enough of those. What the Air Force is waiting for now are the Super Sukhoi upgrades. Even though HAL's Sukhoi production line remained idle for a brief period between 2020 and 2022, the Indian Air Force did place an order for 12 additional aircraft, which are expected to be delivered between 2026 and 2027. That's just enough to replace the aircraft lost in peacetime. It helps fill the gaps, but it's not enough to sustain long-term production throughput. That's why getting a $3 billion export deal becomes a strategic necessity to keep the workforce, factories, and supply chains running. Restarting a fighter jet production line after it goes idle for a long time is not easy. It's extremely expensive and complex. A good example is the US F-22 Raptor. America doesn't want to restart its production line anymore, simply because it's prohibitively costly. Idle production lines kill defense capability. That's the harsh truth. Export orders, on the other hand, keep India's industry sharp and alive. Now, after selling those aircraft to Armenia, India could also offer after-sales services like overhauls, spare parts, weapons restocking, and even upgrades such as EW suites and radar systems. And as I mentioned earlier, India earns the majority of the profit from these exports. In fact, the more India indigenizes systems like the UTOM-ESA radar, upgraded Astra missiles, and EW suites, the smaller Russia's share becomes. There's also a strategic angle here. India gains leverage over Russia. Because Russia, too, benefits from India's exports. A perfect example is the BrahMos export deal to the Philippines. Expanding the Su-30 family globally helps keep Russia's own aerospace ecosystem relevant. So, Russia can't strong-arm India easily anymore, and that gives India valuable diplomatic leverage. To prove this point, look back at the FGFA deal. Earlier, Russia dictated the terms, and the deal wasn't in India's favor, so India walked away. But now, India's aerospace industry has matured significantly. It can maintain and even replace Russian systems over time, and Russia knows this. That's exactly why Moscow recently offered the Su-57 with over 70% technology transfer, which is a huge leap compared to the earlier offer. That one was practically a joke. When another country flies your jet, it sends a powerful message: global credibility, buyer confidence, and proof of reliability. And for India, that translates into a major boost for Tejas exports and overall defense diplomacy. This is what we call reputational capital, something India genuinely wants to build and sustain.